This is Goku-san DBZ, and welcome back for a new top 10 list. And this time around is a top 10 recommendations list of games I suggest and recommend to check out, and possibly buy. And a lot of these games are pretty reasonable price, but these are going to be FPS games, first-person shooter games. There may be some I recommend on this list I may be saving for a possible future second list of recommendations, but these are 10 first person shooters are worth buying. First, two honorable mentions. And the first one is released exclusively to the PlayStation 3. The Killzone Trilogy collection, which of course gives you, obviously, the first three Killzone games. And quite a few people highly regard Killzone 3 as the best of the franchise. And this is better than buying just Killzone 3. I mean, you can buy this under $20. And for three solid first-person shooter games, exclusive to the PlayStation 3, it's definitely worth your time to check out, and it's more than worth the money. I personally picked this copy up I have under $10. So yeah, it's more than worth the money, and you're getting three solid overall first-person shooter games. Next honorable mention, released exclusively to the Xbox 360 honorable mention, that is Halo 3 ODST. And this is definitely a really good game, in all honesty. Even though it's not in the top 10, I still highly recommend this. For me so far, I've tried out most of the Halo games in the franchise, and of the first-person shooter games in the series, in my opinion, easily one of the 5 best Halo games in the franchise. Maybe even, probably for me right now as is, this is probably I would say maybe my fourth favorite Halo game of the franchise. Last honorable mention, released originally exclusively to the Nintendo 64, though if you want a cheaper route and to get more bang for your buck, you can get, of course, this is Perfect Dark, a incredible N64 first-person shooter. If you have an N64, plan on collecting N64 games and stuff, this is definitely on the top of the list. You can get this game really good deal. I got this, believe it or not, I got this for like, I think, $20 to $23 in box, with everything included. For an N64 game, that's a rarity to find a game that dirt cheap. You're going to be paying more for some of the other N64 games for sure. But if you're wanting to get more bang for your buck, if you have an Xbox One, then I recommend getting the Rare Replay Collection, which will get you both Perfect Dark and the sequel, which I feel is kind of underrated. Coming at number 10 now, these are in no specific order game-wise, just so you know, these are just 10 games I highly recommend. First up at 10 is Metroid Prime. In my opinion, at least, to be fair, I've only played about 3 first-person shooters on the GameCube. Now, personally for me, this is easily the best first-person shooter that I've tried on the GameCube, to keep in mind. But since I've only played 4 games, that may not be saying too much, but for me personally, this is probably my second favorite Metroid game, second only to Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. But that's pretty good, in all honesty. In my opinion, this is easily probably in the top 10 best games ever released on the Nintendo GameCube. But if you are a first-person shooter fan and you're a Nintendo fan, I highly recommend you get this. If you have an old model Nintendo Wii, that will, of course, play GameCube games, so you can play Metroid Prime on a Wii. It's a bit cheaper if you're not wanting to actually go out and get a GameCube to play the game, then I recommend that. But yeah, seriously, This is a game I can't recommend enough of Nintendo GameCube games. Easily. But yeah, it comes at number 10. But there's some really good first-person shooters. I'm not the biggest FPS fan, but this game is great. Good, solid gameplay and good storytelling for the most part. Coming in at number 9, in my opinion, is probably the third best game in the franchise as a whole of the first-person shooters. It's probably, in my opinion, the second best. Coming at number 9 is Halo 2. Released exclusively on the original Xbox, of course, console-wise. Now, you can play it in the Master Chief Collection, but given all the glitch issues and stuff with that, I recommend just getting a copy of Halo 2, personally. And the price is not bad either. I mean, believe it or not, the collector's edition is cheaper than the regular version, because more copies of this were made and sold than the original version of Halo 2. Just a little fun fact. Coming in at number 8 is a game I only just recently started playing. Expect in the future sometime actual gameplay. And that is, coming at number 8, Resident Evil 7. Yeah, remember, Resident Evil 7 is the first of the main series to actually be a first-person viewpoint, which, of course, plays along and gives you a better experience with the VR. And I do recommend, if you're going to play Resident Evil 7, if you have a PS4, you have the opportunity, play it in VR. The game itself, I mean, is solid, well-executed, great gameplay. And I'm just happy to see Resident Evil return to form as an old-school RE fan. And this is definitely a first-person shooter I highly recommend. If you don't have VR or PS4, get it on the Xbox One. Either way, it's a solid, great, I guess you could say first-person shooter / horror game. You're definitely going to enjoy really good jump scares and things, but overall the mechanics of the game is well done, and for its first really step into this genre for the Resident Evil franchise, I think they really knocked it out of the park. Coming in at number 7 is somewhat controversial, I will say, but what really did it for me, recommending at 7, is, of course, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I have personally only played 2 Call of Duty games total in my life so far, though I have a digital copy of Black Ops 3, and I also have a digital copy of Modern Warfare Remastered. But I've only actually played Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. So, of the franchise as a whole, I'm not a big Call of Duty person. I've always been more Halo fan myself. But I love the single-player story mode in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. That I have not played the multiplayer. I'm not a big multiplayer shooter fan. I prefer shooters with single-player campaigns, really good single-player content. And this game knocks it out of the park. I think it's one of the better single-player campaigns, I think, of mainstream shooters I've played. Probably one of the best. I'll just be curious to see in the future when I play other COD games how it matches up to Infinite Warfare's story mode. Coming in at number 6, now I actually haven't played the PS4 version yet. I've only played it on the 360, which is like a 4-disc. So it's going to be a lot better overall, probably gameplay-wise, on PS4 current gen versus last gen. But Wolfenstein New Order definitely deserves a mention on this top 10 list. And seriously, if you get a chance, get Wolfenstein the New Order. The price is good, but I recommend getting, of course, the bundle pack with the expansion. Price-wise, it's the better choice, obviously, because you're getting more content. But the single-player storytelling of the New Order is actually really well executed. Coming in at 5 is actually a first-person shooter that has no single player, but yet is about the only first-person shooter I've tried online-wise multiplayer that I actually enjoy, believe it or not, which is kind of weird. And that is Titanfall. And I recommend you get the Xbox One version over the 360. I've played it on both. Way many times better going with this. Or if you're a PC gamer, get it for PC, since it's on that too. But Timefall is a super great game. You can get this for like $5 or less. Dirt cheap, and it's more than worth a few bucks for the experience. There's not as many online players now, unfortunately, but still a solid game overall. At 4 for the N64 is, of course, 007 GoldenEye. Incredible game, in my opinion, may be the absolute best video game based on a movie of all time. And in personal favorite shooters of all time, this is probably my number 2 favorite shooter of all time, above recommendations. I put it in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, in my opinion, is of course the best VR game I have played so far. So that's definitely saying some, and it's a really fun on-rail shooter. And of course that is Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, of course exclusively to the PlayStation 4. More or less designed as strictly a exclusive VR experience. And seriously, if you are, of course, in the market looking for VR games, this is the number 1 game I highly most recommend in VR. And at number 3, in my opinion, of overall first-person shooters, if you're looking for just solid overall gameplay, this is where you go. Coming in at number 2 is Destiny. Hands down, a great experience. Once you've played the expansions and stuff, though, of the original releases, Taken King was my favorite, and I really liked it on Xbox One. But I recommend this game highly, whether it be PS4, Xbone as people call it, or PC. Any of the ways, I still recommend you play Destiny. It's an incredible, really solid game, great mechanics. It's just a lot of fun, and not to mention the graphics are good, and the music is superb as well. But I don't expect less from Bungie. Coming at number 1, I highly recommend the most, Halo Combat Evolved. Now, if you want to get the Master Chief Collection, that's fine. As I said, though, there's still a lot of glitch issues even to this day, and they haven't fixed a lot of them, unfortunately. Now, if you want to play it on original Xbox, it's fine, though I recommend, of course, picking up the Anniversary Edition, which you can get really cheap. I mean, you can look at and probably get a copy of this under $10, not too hard of a time. And that's better because this is really upscaled, the graphic, overall look. Gameplay-wise, it's not really any different than the original Xbox, but graphically, it's much more crisp, way overall, I think, better. If you are going to play the original Halo, I say this is the definitive version of the game to play. But that's my own opinion, and of course you hear in the background Halo music for a reason. But anyways, let me know if you want me in the future to do another 10 recommendations games of first-person shooters. But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.